writers. It was good to see you today. I missed you. Well, you've seen Millie from afar, but I thought I would show her up close and personal to you. She wanted to show off her new haircut here. She got shaved on Friday because she doesn't take care of her fur very well. And she loves to prance around after she's gotten a haircut and be a show-off girl. But right now she's a little camera shy. But maybe, say hi, honey. Oh, dear me. There she is. Anyhow, maybe she'll show off for you in the background here. But this is Millie. All right. There you go. Well, writers, let me put on my shades here for a minute. The purpose of this video is to refresh your mind about what we talked in class today so that you can do your homework this week. As I said in class, it's a bit different this week because we're moving into kind of the project phase of this semester. And so today we talked about the important idea that writers start or begin with a vision. And so really that's your big task this week, is to decide what your vision is for your piece of writing. I thought that I would revisit a couple of the books that I brought to class today to help you see how every book is a little bit different, and some books have similarities and some have big differences or smaller differences. And part of your job this week is going to be paying special attention to what writers do when they write so that you can borrow some of their ideas for your writing. So, keeping in mind that writers begin with a vision, this is one of my favorite books. It's a picture book. It's a Caldecott winter book. It's called Owl Moon. It's by Jane Yolen. And this book is very descriptive in nature. It is a story about a child and a father who go owling. But it's more than just a story. For me, one of the things that I most appreciate about Jane Yolen and this text is the way that she uses words to really help you conjure up an image. And so I even have written down on this little sticky note here a lot of the things that I like about this text that I like to try to use in my writing. One of the things that I wrote down was she uses the setting. The setting really becomes a character, so to speak, in this book. And I think that's a really unique way of weaving in setting. So that's Owl Moon. It's very narrative. It's a story. Now this book, this author's vision was very different from Jane Yolen's. This author obviously wanted to tell us about chocolate, the riches from the rainforest. And even though there are lots of pictures in this book, very different from the type of pictures that are in Owl Moon. One of the things that stands out to me is the way that the author arranges the information on the page. You'll notice there's a blend of pictures, but even like around the text, this interesting artwork. One thing that this author does on every page is there's some part of the text is blown up into large font. And it's obviously something that he wants you to pay attention to. I particularly like this one right here because he says that chocolate is a health food. Now, I live my life by that. So that is chocolate. Very different from Owl Moon. Now, this author wasn't writing, even though this is a nonfiction text similar to chocolate, the author has a very different purpose. This author's purpose is really to kind of inform you about chocolate and the riches from the rainforest. This author is writing a handbook, so to speak, for kids your age on how to be president. So he's writing it with you in mind, thinking, hey, if you want to be president, this is how you go ahead, this is how you do it. For example, the very first page, it says, "Welcome to your first day as President of the United States. The information contained within this manual is designed to assist you in navigating the many facets of your new position." I love it. What a great way of making an informational text, but making it, or writing it in a very interesting way. Now, this book is another informational text, but written in a very different style. This author, I see it as kind of a blend of these two books. It's informational in nature, but it's very descriptive like Al Moon is. He is also, this author is also writing with you in mind as if you were a jellyfish. The last book that I want to point out to you is Twilight Comes Twice. I've shown you this book before by Ralph Fletcher. Now this author is writing in a very descriptive way. It's not a story really, it's really a description of Twilight. So it's almost a blend of information and kind of a bringing in a little story, sort of. I don't even know how to classify it, but it's very different. So the reason that I showed you these books is to help you see that authors write with a different reason behind why they're writing. They write with a different audience in mind, but they also kind of bring their own personal twist to what they're writing. And that's what I want you to be thinking about. What is your vision for your book? I shared with you an excerpt from a writer's notebook today, and I'm not going to read it to you again, but I want to give you the page number so that you can go read it again. It's on page 32, and it's Mr. Fletcher talking about how one of his seed ideas grew into an idea for a book. He even says, in a flash, I could picture the book. I envisioned it as an illustrated book for readers somewhere around 7 to 10. So this is a great example of how real authors always begin with a vision, and that is your task this week. So part of what you'll be doing in your assignment is you'll be writing a note to me about what your vision is. Tell me about how you see your text fitting into other books. In other words, is it a nonfiction book? Is it a story? Is it descriptive? Is it arguing an opinion? You're going to need to decide that this week. So another one of the things that we talked about in class today was the idea that writers with a vision have mentors. So part of your assignment this week is to be thinking about who your writing mentors are and what books you have in your collection that you would consider being mentors to you as you write the piece of text that you're going to be writing. I'm going to share with you my 3 mentors for those kids who were not in class and for your parents, because what I'm doing right here is what you will be doing or bringing to class next week. You are going to be finding at least 2, maybe between 2 to 4 mentor texts. You're going to be bringing them to class, and on each of the books, you're going to include a sticky note about what you like or things that you notice that the author does that maybe you could try in your writing. So in the book that I'm writing, it's a book for teachers, so naturally all of my mentors are teacher books. So this book is To Understand, and the reason that it's a mentor for me is that the author is someone that I really admire. I admire her ideas. I also admire her writing style. Some of the things that I appreciate about this book, I've written them on my sticky note. She includes classroom stories as examples. That's something that I'm doing in my book. Another thing that she does is she lets the reader know that you can read this text in different ways. You can read it like you would any book, kind of from start to finish. Or what she suggests is you can read it she has 4 strands that she's woven through the book. You can read it 1 strand at a time. So in other words, you're kind of going through the book several times, just reading it kind of 1 strand at a time, which I thought was a really unique way to write a book. So that's this mentor text. This mentor text, I have selected it for a couple of different reasons. The reason that this book is a mentor text is because it's about the same content that my book is about. This is called That Workshop Book. It's about the workshop. That's what my book is about. It's about the workshop as an instructional framework. So a couple of things that I wrote down here is that she includes good graphics to support her ideas. Like this one right here. I love this graphic, and in my book that I'm writing, I'm including some of my own graphics to help readers better understand a point that I'm trying to make. The last mentor text that I have right here, this is a mentor text because the authors are, in the field of reading, they are really kind of powerhouses. They are authors that everybody is familiar with in the realm of teaching reading, and so I like them already for that reason. But for this particular book, one of the things that I appreciate is at the end of each chapter, there are suggestions for professional development. And you don't need to know what professional development is, but it's what I do when I'm working with teachers. So I like the fact that at the end of each chapter, there are suggestions for that. So in my book, I'm doing the same thing. It's not going to be called Suggestions for Professional Development. It's called something else, but I'm doing this. I'm borrowing this idea. So this week, you're going to be choosing your mentor text, the text that you are going to go to help you in your writing, and you are going to be reading each one of them through reading like a writer. In other words, instead of just reading for enjoyment or reading to understand, you're reading to get writing ideas, and that's what you're going to write on your sticky note. So, I hope that this video helps you better understand what you are doing this week in your homework. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, but don't forget, you need to bring this next week. You need to bring all your mentor texts. You need to bring your note to me about what your vision for your piece is, and you need to have your sticky notes on each of your books telling what it is you like about this text or the way that this author writes. I can't wait to see you next week. I can't wait to hear about what your vision is for your text, and I can't wait to get started writing with you. Have a great week.